June is a great time to take cuttings of some of your favorite, our favorite perennials, and that's exactly what we're going to do this morning.
And I already started, and we have one of these ones is the catwort, the Nepeta, that is really easy to take cuttings of. So what I do, I try to find, so of course some of them are in flower, but that's not a worry for me. I'll just try to take this one right here. So I remove some of the lower leaves here. I'll just pull it apart with my finger here, just above where there's like other branches coming out from the side. Does it have a flower? I'll just remove that so it doesn't use any energy on the flowering here, but they will focus on making roots. So I'll also notice I don't have a lot of foliage left on that.
But we do keep some because this is where the plant's going to lose moisture from those leaves. So you don't want a whole bunch of leaves on there, exactly, because that's where it's going to lose the moisture. But you have to have a few because that's how, until this little cutting gets roots, that's how it's going to get moisture.
So what I do, I have you can use any kind of pot, use pot here, and then I have some potting soil, or you can use soil from the garden. And what I do, I place the cutting right on the side here, on the edge, because then later on, when you have to take it out, you won't really disturb too much of the root because it will sit right on the side, and you can kind of just pinch it off, like with your hands, take off without disturbing too much of the cutting compared to if you did it in the middle.
Exactly. So, if it was in the middle, if you put 4 or 5 cuttings there in the middle, all those roots are going to start coming together, and you're going to have one big clump. Instead of now, you can pull apart individuals once these roots start to grow.
So that's the first one. I'll do some more, and I'll show you in a minute. But also when I'm finished with this, I'll add it in our greenhouse to give that really high humidity. What you can also do, if you don't have a greenhouse, or also in the greenhouse, but take a plastic bag over and cut a little snip a hole in the top, and then you really give it the best option for it to create new roots and give it this humid climate to grow in.
And again, the reason for that plastic bag, or even in the greenhouse over there, although it's not quite as humid in ours, we have to keep it open these days because we've had some beautiful sunshine. But yeah, you put that plastic bag over it to keep that moisture in, because these little guys don't have roots just yet. So you want to prevent as much moisture loss as possible.
And some of them, they will grow roots really quickly. Some will take a little bit more time and you have to be patient. But it should be over late summer, then they should be ready just to be planted out in the garden again. As soon as you keep an eye on the growth, and if there's any roots coming under, then I just plant it right out in the garden again.
Fantastic.
So that's the first one.
Let's do some more. And the bees are going to love this one. I'm sure they're happy we're making more. Here's one of our absolute favorites. We talk about it a lot. It's this dark foliage sedum. And look, as I pull away, you can't even see it. It just disappears into the garden with this morning sun.
It is really pretty. So what we do here, notice I go under a leaf here, a note here. So I cut here, because already here, now I'll remove just either with my fingers or the shears, but I'll remove the lower leaves here. Again, not having too much foliage, but still keep some. But here where it had already growth from the leaf coming out here, there it will really be likely also to produce some roots coming while I add it under the soil here. So I'll remove some more, not to have too much on.
And it's okay to cut some in half even, because, yeah, exactly, just like you did. So you don't even have to remove all of them. But this is where it's going to lose its moisture, gain its moisture, and get its energy from.
So I'll just put it next to its friends over here.
We've got a whole collection here. You can also obviously have different pots for different plants.
And just keep them in. But since this is a big one, I'm making a lot of cuttings. But again, place it in the corner here, so later on when it is rooted, it's easy to get out, and that will also go in the greenhouse.
And that's a good point. You have to take a lot. For the purpose of this exercise, we'll only take a few, but normally we would take as many as we can, because who knows if that one little cutting is going to grow. You have a much higher success rate with the more cuttings. Right, Lars?
Yes. I moved over to the lavender here, Lavender Thumbelina. That's also really great and easy to make more babies of by doing cuttings. And notice here again, a lot of them needs to be the new growth. Like the green has lots of energy, and instead of the woody stems.
Yeah, that's a good point. With something like a lavender, can you find a woody stem in there? The difference between this one's kind of pretty
here.
young. Yes, you can see it even looks like wood compared to those soft, supple, beautiful new ones.
And again here I remove just with my hands, very easy, pull them apart, the lower leaves here, so it doesn't have too much foliage. And if it has any flowers, I'll snip that off. Like
Sorry,
this.
flower.
And that way. And don't worry about the mother plant here, it will branch out again. You can even take from the back, so you kind of hide, so there's not too many just bare stems sitting there without a flower. Again, I place it around the corner here, maybe over here so you can see. And then later on it will also be easy to take out of them.
Exactly. And remember to take more than one, because
just taking one here.
yeah, we've very easy, and it's totally fine. You'll go in hours. Now all of our cuttings have been sold, but you'll go in hours and you'll find, well, sometimes they just don't grow, and that's just part of life.
Yeah. And another great tip not to forget about doing cuttings, it would be a true copy of the mother plant, compared to if you do propagate them from seeds. It will cross mix, like the bees will pollinate, and you'll sometimes get a different color. But this, by using cutting, it's a true copy of the mother plant. I think that's also really amazing.
Exactly, especially with something, if you know you like the flower, for example, a hosta, and you know that you like the foliage, or another plant where you really like the foliage, make sure you take a cutting, and then you're guaranteed that exact plant.
So here also one that's really easy to take cuttings of is the Salvia. The stout Salvia. This is Cardonna, has black stems, really pretty. I have a few here. You could even have done it a little bit early, because a lot of these are in full bloom now. But I have one here that's really falling over. We have staked it too. But you could go and look with some without. But I have one here where the stem has broken earlier down, so I'll just take it there, because that had fallen anyway. And see, it had already broken, and then it's producing side shoots. So what I do, I remove the lower leaves, and I'll place this under the surface where the old leaves were already. And again, you could have done a little bit earlier, that's fine too. Again, I'll set it on the edge right there, and where the leaves were, I make sure that's under the surface here. And then this will also be ready to go in.
This is a beautiful one. Look what it's going to grow into. These wonderful black stems and purple flowers. And if the wind would stop blowing, the bees would come out.
Yeah, and the bees really love this. There's a lot of traffic in this one.
Like the bee traffic.
Yes.
Here's one I'm pretty excited about. It's our new Wallflower. We bought this one at the hardware store of all places. Excuse me, Lars bought it at the hardware store.
Yes, I did. So here you can see one that has a little, I'll make sure to get this one here, if I can cut it. There we go. And it has a little flower coming here, but I sadly have to remove that one. And again, the lower leaves, I'll just pull it off here and make sure. So this will make a great new wallflower.
And it's going to be, look at that, it's a beautiful one.
And again, I'll place it right on the edge, really push it down there so it gets contact to the soil. There we go. And always these ones really keep an eye on, observe if the soil is wet enough and not over wet, and out of direct sunlight, so that you don't burn these small new cuttings.
Exactly, and you don't want them to lose too much moisture too fast, and that's what super hot direct sunlight can do.
Yes.
The last cutting we're going to do this morning is from our hydrangeas. They're doing super well. They're starting to come in. You can see that we've got all different sizes. We have some that we bought last year on an after summer sale for 5 Danish crowns, or $1 a piece. That's crazy. Yeah, so lots of different stuff. Every year for birthday, Lars gets one. So a lot of different sizes, but they're starting to sort of catch up. And now
We
get
found one.
to make more. Yay!
So what I look for here, they are really easy to also propagate from cuttings. So you don't want to take from the woody stem here.
Oh, let me show
Can
you.
you see?
Yeah.
The really hard one looks like a branch. You want to have these that can really wiggle. These soft green shoots are really easy. And I try to look for some that doesn't have a flower bud.
Yes,
because
please.
So I found one over here in the back. So what I do again, I hope you can see here, Alan.
Hold on.
So I'll cut this one
Yes,
here.
I see you.
Yeah. So I will cut right under the bud here, because I'll remove the lower ones because they will come under the ground where those leaves were, and I'll remove some of the foliage up here. If you choose to take one with a little flower bud in, you need to pinch that, take that away, otherwise it'll keep on wanting to flower. So this one is really great, and it will make roots very quickly. And I'll place that again, I'll lift that up, around the edge there.
Our bouquet here.
There we go, look at that. And then it's ready to go in the greenhouse, this one.
Exactly, and we have to say it again. I know I keep repeating myself. I am a teacher, but we have to keep repeating it. Do more than one cutting, because,
Yeah.
you just never know who's going to work and who's like, I'm sorry, I was living my life there in the hydrangea bed, and now you've cut me. So, perfect.
Okay.
So thanks so much for watching. We can't wait to see how these are going to grow. We're going to place them in the greenhouse with a bag over them to help them not lose too much moisture out of direct sunlight. And then, well, they're all going to vary.
Yeah.
But hopefully by the end of the summer, I think everybody should have rooted.
We'll do a bunch more and show you when they are growing and have nice roots.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much for watching.
Bye.